unless you're making so many millions of dollars that you can afford to basically just lose a lot of it, you must be aware of what I'm getting ready to say here, right? And at no point in time do you ever want to quickly sign a contract that gives a complete stranger control of your money. I've been through hell and back, like literally. And when it comes to money, 99.99% of people care about how much money goes into their bank account. It sounds negative, but unfortunately, that's kind of like where it is, right? You know, that's just the reality of it, And I've always heard this saying or read this saying that says, see things as they are, not as you want them to be, right? And that really relates to some things in the financial world because, of course, you have vision and you have goals and you want to see things as you want them to be. But when you're working with people, right, and when it comes to money, you have to see things as they are and you can't change people, right? So in their eyes, they aren't doing anything wrong. Many people think that even when they take advantage of you in business, they think that it's just doing business, right? And they may say, hurry up and sign these docs, right? Just trust me. But if it were all about trust, why would there be a need for a contract in the first place? So let's just think about that for a second. And we've heard people say that, just sign these docs, trust me, basically. If it was about trust, why the need to sign a contract? And, as the recession picks up more steam and, the consumer reality kicks in because the recession has been here, right? But as consumers, sometimes we're a little bit late because we're looking at lag indicators like the stock market and various things that happen. By the time you see it there, it's already happening, right? But as things, recession picks up and interest rates, start to hold money, banks start to hold money, right? And interest rates start to shoot up, you're going to see, what people do as business kick in at a higher gear, right? And some people could be pretty bold about it and what they do to get ahead. But you can't really focus on other people. You must focus on building, growing, and scaling your business. But at the same time, you must protect your cash flow. And we have a program that can help guide you in that direction. We have a free video that you can watch that I did on a podcast maybe a year or two ago now, and it's still relevant to this day. There's a free ebook that you can get your hands on that tells you, it basically gives you exactly what you need to know, right? Which is your numbers, right? Everything else is cool. Everything else you definitely needed to make money. You need operations to keep the money. You need to understand a few things about your business. And if you don't know your numbers, you don't know your business, right? And so this is not a program for everybody. I would never just take on clients just to take them on. I've been there, I've done that before. I learned the freaking very hard lesson of just taking on anybody as a client. And no matter how good they may seem, no matter what they may say, I'd rather take on a client who is making a decent amount of money today, but who understands their business, who understands the number, than a client who's making, say, $1 million a month, who doesn't understand their business. They know the sales and marketing side of it. Because that person who understands their business, who understands their numbers, it's going to be a lot less headache working with them. It's going to be a longer term business, right? And that person who does not understand their numbers, hopefully they last. In some cases they do. Maybe they're really great at marketing. But for the most part, most of those businesses don't last and end up having to do so many different other things. And when things go hairy or go awry, people are pointing fingers. And a lot of times it really relates back to not knowing your numbers. I remember bringing on sales reps in the same way, where we bring on these sales reps and they'd be all gung-ho and emotional and motivated and fired up. And they would go out and get a client, like a payment processing client. They bring the application back in or submit it or whatever. And they'd automatically expect to get paid. We're like, this merchant hasn't even processed. Like, you can't get paid for sending pieces of paper in, right? And I've even had some sales reps to do that who were basically doing it in a very nefarious way and unethically by signing contracts for people, right? Because the people, maybe they didn't speak English well, and they would say, hey, you got to pay me $1,000 per contract, right? And then it would have some people who weren't unethical, but they just weren't smart either, and they would sign a contract for a client that does maybe 3,000 tops a month, tops, maybe $1,000 a month, and they say, hey, you got to pay me $1,000. And so it just taught me like, whoa, you just don't need to bring on everybody to your team as well. And I've had the same issue with clients, right? When things are going good, they're happy, right? But when things aren't, they don't know how to fix things. They don't know how to, change the trajectory of where they're going. And it becomes a freaking emotional mess. I've had clients who come on of all nationalities and gender, female, there's only two genders, right? Male and female. And I've had females also to come in and bring in really, really bad businesses because they don't know business, but they're trying, high tickets, they're trying whatever they can, which will at the end cause me as the business owner who's holding the risk to lose a ton of money by just going on emotion. So hopefully this helps you. There's a link that you'll be able to click to sign up for a free assessment, and I'll see you on the next video. Be good.